Welcome, this is Shakti Corolla Nevrin, and welcome to my weekly power forecast. So my intention is to get you prepared for the week, to just cover the highlights and condense them into something concrete. So then I do the 1 minute forecast where I talk more about what's happening the day. So a lot of that will be covering the moon and which sign it is and what's your emotional set point for the day. So you want to check those out. In the coming week, we will have the sun shifting in another sign from Taurus into Gemini. And that's happening one day before my birthday on the 20th. So that's always a very special time of the month, because the energies of our consciousness, how we filter the world through our understanding, through our mind, is kind of shifting. So also we look at the zodiac in connection to the different seasons. So each month something different happens in nature out there throughout the year. So it's very different when the sun steps into Gemini, what we will discuss, or if the sun steps into Capricorn. So Capricorn is a very resilient sign, is the sign of winter, where everything kind of pulls inside. And so what I'm getting at is when we go through the year, each month is carrying a certain quality. So with Gemini, it's all about getting out, connecting with the world. There's a certain youthful spirit and playfulness with it. So we will discuss that. So this week we will have the moon moving through the last quarter of one cycle of evolution. So it's in Capricorn today, going to be in Aquarius, and then in Pisces. And Pisces is the last sign of one continuation of integration, of emotional maturation when the moon is concerned. So in Pisces, it's really about that connection to all that is, that integration from a visionary, mystical perspective. So we have two planets besides the moon stepping into a new sign. So first of all, Monday evening late, the Mercury will step into Taurus. And then on the 20th, the sun is stepping into Gemini. So let's start with the Mercury stepping into Taurus. While I'm doing this, and big part of the coming week, the sun will be still in Taurus. So Taurus is a sign where it's really about grounding ourselves, getting our fingers dirty in the garden, doing things for the comfort of our physical being, taking care of our health. So being comfortable and adjusting with the three-dimensional world around us in a very practical way. So that's in the foreground with Taurus. So Taurus is kind of taking care for that inner animal we all have. So when Mercury steps into Taurus, Mercury as our intellectual filter, our mind, how we filter the world and understand, our curiosity. So that is filtering through the sign of Taurus, which means it will be very practical oriented. So it's a no-nonsense kind of mental perspective. So it's a good time to plan and actually take action, to be very concrete in your thoughts and the decisions coming out of that. And when you look back into your life, whenever we really made a concrete decision and then we decided to really take action on that, these were the moments in time when life changed. So this is kind of the quality we will have with the Mercury in Taurus, that if we get really clear, very grounded, very practical, we can really start strong and powerful changes in our life. And then, of course, with the sun stepping into Gemini, Gemini is ruled by Mercury. So Gemini gets that kind of practical filter through the Mercury in Taurus. and the consciousness will be more outwardly. So Gemini is all about social interaction, traveling, being in the world, communication, learning new things. So we look at Gemini as a sign of having experiences in the mind by learning new things, and experiences by exposing ourselves into situations where we learn new things. So let's see here. What I want to talk about with Gemini in mind is how important it is to allow ourselves to be inspired and to allow ourselves to learn new things. So Gemini is kind of looked at a very young, spirited sign. So Gemini is often compared to the beginner's mind, which just means it's a mind of a young child being curious, wanting to learn all those things, asking all those questions. And that's what's available for us in the coming months. That curiosity, that need to be inspired, that need to expand our wings into new dimensions of understanding. So there's a certain flexibility and newness and juiciness in that. So the beginner's mind is something which I hold very, very sacred, because I have Gemini rising. So when I don't continue to learn and to study, which by the way I do every morning, then I feel under-inspired. I live on Maui, so it's not a city. It's in a way there's not so much happening here. So I have to kind of really consciously take part in seminars and teachings and other astrological perspectives. So I always keep expanding and juicing myself up with reading and learning new things. So you have heard me talk about Tony Robbins, which I'm a big fan of. So he talks about kanai, and I've talked about it before. Constant and never-ending improvement. And that is so related to Gemini, because Gemini really gets a lot out of that constant advancement, constantly learning more, doing better. And we also have often talked about how one sign is really complemented by the opposing sign. So Gemini is complemented by Sagittarius. So Sagittarius is a sign of the big overview, the wisdom perspective of the philosopher, the religious seeker. So Sagittarius is the one who always wants to look at the bigger underlying structures and pattern in the world and a meaningful perspective. So Gemini is more oriented towards collecting all those pieces, all the pieces of the puzzle. And then the Sagittarian, you can look at the one who puts the pieces into place to create a meaningful overall picture out of that. So that's kind of the invitation of this month, to collect new pieces, new perspectives, new insights, and ultimately make more sense out of the world we're living in. So if you can take an intention for the coming months, it's to really find out where you want to commit yourself to kanai, to improvement, to learning something new every day. So in connection with that is that we all have very specific associations. We give specific meaning to certain things and to certain events. We create beliefs out of those associations and conditionings we have received. So with the sun in Gemini, there is a chance to take a new look at those associations and those meanings we take for granted. So that's a wonderful, playful way to move through the coming months. We also look at Gemini as a storyteller. So or the teacher. So in order to get to that place where we overflow, we need to become the student first. So Gemini and Mercury is therefore the twofold phase of the student who learns and incorporates all that knowledge and all these different perspectives. And then at some point, the cup is full and it starts overflowing. So that's a point in time when the storyteller or the teacher emerges. And that is a time when we can really make a difference with everything we have learned and taken in. So yeah, just enjoy this month and the curiosity and the lightheartedness which comes with that. Before I go to the gemstone for the week or the month and how you can support yourself and the flow with very specific gemstones, I have a surprise for you. So I want to share that I am almost finished with the first guided meditation for Aries. So I'm planning to make it available for you. If you connect with me, send me an email to shaktyastrology@gmail.com. Then I have your email and I can send you the recording for free. And the only thing I would like to have back is your feedback. So I'm planning to do these guided meditations for all the signs. So this one for Aries is especially helpful if you have Sun in Aries, Moon, Ascendant, or any other planets in Aries or in the first house. So these will be guided meditations where you deeply connect with the high-end qualities of your sign. So I would like to do this test run to get as much feedback as possible before I go on with the other signs. So if you want to be part of this venture, send me an email and I send you the recording. Let's get to the gemstone of the week. So I have talked about before how we can use gemstones to support certain areas in our chart. So remember, all the planets in your birth chart are symbolizing different inner aspects, different inner voices we have to bring together in all these facets and different intentions they hold. So the gemstones, what you do, you bring in a certain signature of certain gemstones, which is based on the color of the stone, the crystal structure, the chemical composition, the light reflection. So all these form a certain personality or signature, as we say. And these we can relate back to planets and how they show up in somebody's chart. So I have even created what I call the gemstone profile, where I give you for $20 your gemstone profile report, where you will find out which is your main true birthstone for each of the planets in your chart. So then you can really support like the moon in your chart, or the sun, or your north node, or your Mercury. So this is, if you love gemstones, it's a really nice way to work with that. So I will always give you the gemstones which are kind of connecting to the subjects I'm talking in my forecast. So for all this Gemini stuff I've been talking about, the Gemini stones to play with for meditation or get out your jewelry you might have with certain stones. For Gemini will be crystal, quartz crystal, or yellow stones like citrine. With citrines, just make sure you get the natural citrine, not the heated one. The heated ones get very brown, so that's a good sign to recognize they're not in their natural state. But the light yellow color, these are the natural citrines. And these are Mercurian stones, so this is where the connection with Gemini is happening. And then you could also work with violet stones, because violet stones connect with the third eye and the crown chakra. So you have seen me play with my sugilite while I'm doing my talks. So the sugilite is this dark violet, but there are also lighter sugilite stones. and you know that from amethyst as a violet stone. So amethyst is kind of a stone which opens up to bring in those higher guidance, inspirations from other dimensions. Sugilite is a stone to really help manifest, to really make it concrete, to really do something with those insights. So I've personally loved my sugilite. I'm always kind of fiddling and playing with it when I do my readings. So these are all stones you can use to meditate with. Meditation with stones help you to fast and easily balance and harmonize your energy body. So you do that by just laying down and putting the gemstones on top of your body. Could be on top of the chakras, or the third eye is an area where you will feel very sensitive to different qualities of stones, and you might open up your own intuition and ability to connect to your own inner guidance. So crystal quartz I have talked about a lot because it's such a wonderful stone which holds potentially the whole rainbow. So it connects to all the chakras. So crystal quartz you can always work with. If you want to go get more specific, you can always work with a Herkimer diamond, which is a double terminated crystal clear Herkimer, which is very balanced in between extremes. So it's a stone for balance, finding that balanced out place in the middle. And in our chakra system, that would be the connection to the heart chakra. So that's a wonderful stone to play with. And then, of course, you can always work with a certain cut gemstones might hold. So, for example, if you have how do you call the ball? The sphere. That is a very balanced and harmonized energy. No matter which stone it is, it's kind of radiating out in that kind of spheric expansion. So that is the reason why we talk about the crystal ball as a vehicle to look deeper into certain dimensions of consciousness. So you know the crystal ball for the fortune teller kind of thing. So not that I think it's very real, but the crystal ball really is a very potent, balanced, harmonized energy field, no matter what gemstone is cut into that form. So play around with the gemstones, use them to focus, to concentrate, to set intentions for how you want to use these energies for the coming months. So don't forget to like the video, please. Leave me a comment. If you tell me where your sun is in your chart, in which house or in which aspect, I will drop you a little inspiration and thought about that. So I think it's a good way to communicate a little bit. So this is more of a dialogue than just me talking about something. So yeah, I hope I hear from you soon. I'm gonna warn you, I'm gonna take a holiday this summer. I'm traveling on May the 25th, so let's make the best out of the few times we're gonna see each other before that. So all the best. Have a wonderful, wonderful next week, and I see you soon.